Right, so we are live and can start. Okay. All right. So thank you very much for joining today's session. Today's session is MLSA Ghana Days, day 2. So it's a day 2 for MLSA Ghana Days. MLSA stands for Microsoft Learning Student Ambassadors. Who are the Microsoft Learning Student Ambassadors are on campus Microsoft on-campus representative for Microsoft who helped educate people or their fellow colleagues on campus and globally. Yes, so we are located across every part of across the globe. Some are in Nigeria, some are in China, US, everywhere. Right. So MLSA Ghana Day seeks to um bring together various communities like on our various university campus, and also bring together experts, Microsoft MVPs, cloud advocates, and those professionals to come and talk to us students on various technologies and all that. So yesterday we had a session where we talked about building mobile apps with Power Apps, which Shadrach Inusa took us through. Then after that, uh, Oluwaju Oyembu also took us through LinkedIn optimization internships, and also intention. So breaking into tech. That was a very nice presentation, and we are working on the recording, and the recording will be live maybe today or maybe tomorrow. Once the recording is live, you have the link via your email, right? So let's jump straight into today's session. For today's session, let's introduce myself. I am Prince Adimado. I'm a Go Student Ambassador at Microsoft, also a final year computer science student at Accra Technical University. I'm a front-end web developer, and also I'm into Microsoft Power Platform. On the tech side, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Primado, and also on that other platform as Primado. Also on LinkedIn, it's Prince Adimado. You can also Google my name. I appear in the first 2 pages of the search results. All right, so let's jump straight. First of all, this session that I'll come to introduce to you is why you should get a why should you have a GitHub account as a student, right? Why should you have a GitHub? So I want to list or this or talk on four how do you call it, reasons why you should get a GitHub account. So for one, for collaboration, you can't say you're a developer, maybe a data analyst or whatever, front-end developer, backend, without you having a GitHub account for collaboration. I've been working on projects, and me and my fellow developers, we are not working using Telegram or WhatsApp or maybe Google Drive, OneDrive. No, we are working on GitHub. That's where we are working, and we work in branches. We place pull requests. We revert from previous code to previous versions of our code, of our source code, and we do that on GitHub for collaboration. You can't say you're a professional developer or a data analyst and working on a project, and your code or your project is only based on your computer. It should be on GitHub. I remember I was in one WhatsApp group, and one 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 had individual. I think my screen is not showing, or it's showing. Is my screen showing? Victor, is my screen showing?
Yes, Prince. It was, but now it's not anymore.
Okay, I'm coming. So let me do something. I think let me see something. Let me mute someone. Yes, let me mute this person. Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and continue with the presentation. I hope it has come. Yeah, so for collaboration, one, he was working on a project for someone. Say he went to sleep or something of that sort. He came back, his hard disk has crashed, and his source code is gone. Like he can't retrieve it again. Whether I don't know, it's hardly for him to retrieve it. So for collaboration, so anytime you work on a project, you push right to GitHub. You work on a small feature, you push to GitHub using Git. So if you get a GitHub account, the next thing you have to have is also have a Git. You have to have a Git installed on your local machine, right? And also for version control, as I said, you need some tech companies, they release features, and they see that the feature, there are bugs in the feature and all that. They can revert back to the previous version. So for version, you keep track of your changes, so you can revert back to the previous comment or the previous production, right? Yeah, and also we have the portfolio. GitHub also serve as your portfolio. So like when you go to a company and you say, okay, what you say you're a developer, you're front end, back end, full stack, whatever, and they ask you, where can you find your source code? Say, nah, it's only on your machine. It's like, it is impossible. Like, you show that you are not serious, right? And also, companies who love to, who want to employ you, uh, want you to know GitHub. That is one of the requirements if you on in a job description. So you must have a GitHub account. And lastly, one option I think I forgot. um uh, for open like for open source collaborations. Yes, for open source collaborations, once you have a GitHub account, all open source projects happen on GitHub. So if you have a GitHub account, you have access to collaborate on open source projects. Also, it enhances your developer portfolio and all that. So I'll end my slideshow here. And I'll go back to Teams, and I will share my entire screen and show you other reasons why you must get a GitHub account. Why should you get a GitHub account? All right, so I'll come here and see I am on my GitHub profile. So this is my GitHub profile. Yesterday, I think yesterday, yes, or 2 days ago, a friend of mine said we should work on the project. And once I committed a change, I think today I can see I have one comment on March 11. Yes, so I'm still working on it. You can see March 10, like from 11, I have some comments, about 3 comments even today. Yes, so GitHub, your profile also allows you to pin some project, customize your, like, pin some of your best repositories you have on your GitHub account. So you pin over here, and also your contributions. So this year, what are the contributions, like what contributions have I made? So this year I've been building some small, so 163 contributions. So if I don't code every day, but once there's a project, I make sure to at least code, right? Yes, so these are some of my contributions. When it comes to 2022, this is some of the contributions. I started active coding like October there and all that, so you can see. All right, so this is a GitHub account, and so you can customize it. How can you have a GitHub profile like this? Also, once you get a GitHub account, you learn how to do that. Also, there's a platform where you can go to say profile. Yes, I think it came profile me.dev. It's where you can customize and have a beautiful GitHub account like profile like this, readme profile like this. So come here and click on create, and it can be, and start customizing your account, right? Yes, and also we have something called GitHub Global Campus Student. GitHub Global Campus Student, and I have registered, right? Yeah, so if you want to be a GitHub Campus expert, this is a platform you must come. So let me try to do something. Let me go to a guest account. Let me go to a guest account, and let me say GitHub uh education, GitHub education. I want to show you something. So I click on this. Yeah, so GitHub Campus expert, so education, so the student programs. I'll say student programs. So this, I'm not logged in. So yes, so it says sign up for GitHub Global Campus. And once you sign up for GitHub Global Campus, you have access to the student developer pack. You can also become a campus expert. Also, you can join the GitHub octainerships. program, the internship program is not available in all countries. It's I think this time 10 countries or 15. I think it's 10 countries, and Nigeria is part, and other countries, right? But Ghana is not part, so you can check the if you are in check it to see whether it's available in your country. If later you are watching the video on YouTube, right? So when you come to the GitHub Campus Student Developer Pack, so this is what the GitHub Campus Student Expert do. The whole session, like what you are doing as Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors. So when it comes to the GitHub Developer Pack, if I go to the Learn More, you can sign up for the GitHub Campus Developer. You have Namecheap, you have access to a domain name, StreamYard, Microsoft Azure, about I think $200 US Azure credits and all that. This is for students. Like this session, like how do you call it? Benefit is for students. And if you're a student, and also you have access to GitHub Copilot, like it's your GitHub Copilot. I hope you know GitHub Copilot. When you're coding, it offers suggestions. Also, you can ask GitHub Copilot to give you write some code for you. If you don't know how to write a certain code, give it a prompt, like what you do in GPT. Give it a prompt and to write a whole code for you on what you want it to do, right? So it's an AI that empowers your coding abilities, right? I've been using it and I've been using it for my projects and all that. So GitHub how can you apply? So they want to make sure that you're a student. So if you have access to your GitHub, no, if I have access to your student's email, like the Gmail or something, yeah. Or if you don't have access to your Gmail like me, how did I register? So on the registration page, they say if you don't have access to your Gmail, if you have your student ID card, so you take a shot of your student ID, make sure it is clear, right? Like a very nice shot of your student ID, then you upload it to the registration page. Like there's an area where you have to upload it. Once you upload it, then they'll like I think there's an AI that extracts the details from the card and all that. So you can also register to I register using my student ID and it worked and I have this benefit. So when I come here, when I go to my previous page, that's how I go to um uh to enjoy some of these benefits, right? So also we also have access to GitHub Pro, like free access to GitHub Pro, like some of the premium versions or premium features of GitHub, you get to access it for free, right? So this is some of the benefits you can get and all that. I think also there's code space, GitHub code spaces and all that. So at this juncture, I'll just end here and I'll allow Victor. Victor is on a call. So Victor, once you're on the call, get ready and start your presentation on Microsoft certifications, right? Getting certified by Microsoft. How can you get certified as a student, right? Once on campus. So Victor, if you can hear me, you can start sharing your screen. Yes.
All right, sure. How is my background noise? Is it okay?
Yes, I think it's okay. It's okay.
All right,
Yeah.
Sure. So let me share my screen. Awesome. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen and it is showing. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Awesome. All right, so my name is Victor Nanade. I am a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, a beta Student Learn Ambassador, and I'm from the Accra Technical University. You can reach me on the mail provided there, victor.ade@studentambassadors.com. So what are we doing today? Basically, there's an introduction to Microsoft Learn, and so we'll actually talk about the Microsoft Learn platform. We'll discuss or see the difference between learning paths and then modules. and then also certifications, Microsoft certifications to be precise. All right. So what is Microsoft Learn? Let's start. What is Microsoft Learn? So Microsoft Learn. Hold on. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, sure.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Right. So what is Microsoft Learn? Microsoft Learn, it's an online training platform from Microsoft that provides interactive learning for Microsoft products and then more. Okay, and the purpose for this platform is to help you or an individual discover and then learn new skills, find certifications, advance your career with interactive and hands-on learning paths. Okay, so that is the purpose of the Microsoft Learn platform. So who can access Microsoft Learn platform? Is it free? Do you need to create a profile to use Microsoft Learn? The answer is no. You don't need to create a profile, and it's absolutely free for everyone. All right. You can still access and then consume all learning content without having a profile. But you get more features available when you sign in or when you create a profile. So without a profile, you can access it, but then with a profile, you get more features available. Okay. Now, if you are a Microsoft employee or a student ambassador, then you get even more features. Okay. More features, such as you can track your progress on the learning activities that you are taking. You can create and then share collections of modules. You can also accrue points and then achievement. And then you can even use your free Azure resources that you get on the Microsoft Learn platform if you are an employee of Microsoft or a student ambassador. All right. So that is what the Microsoft Learn platform is about. Now, how does it work? So there are learning paths and then modules. There are learning pattern and modules. Let's see how you can actually understand these two things. Okay. Now on the Microsoft Learn platform, all learning content is organized into modules. Okay. Usually with 5 to 7 steps or units. Okay. And then they cover a specific topic, usually around 30 and then 30 to 60 minutes long. Okay. So the image that you see on the screen, okay, it's an example of a module. So this is a module. And now this module is an overview of a module actually. Now this module has a topic, a specific topic that is talking about, which is Introduction to Azure. It's a 20 minutes module with 6 units. Okay. And then there are no prerequisites for this particular module. And now the learning objectives here. Okay, so with this, you can see your points here, your experience points, which is the XP. All right. So with this module, once you complete, you are going to gain a new skill, and then you get a badge. And the skill that you gain, it relates to your role, okay, or a target technology. So if you are interested in Azure, and then you take this learning module, when you are done, you gain a new skill or knowledge about Azure, okay, and then you also get a badge as a reward. So this is a module, okay. Module contains units, 6 units, up to 6 units, okay, usually from 3 to 6 units, and usually 30 to 60 minutes long. So this is basically a module. Now let's see what a learning path is. Okay. Now this is a learning path, what you see on the screen. Now learning paths are ordered list of modules. Okay, so they are learning paths, they contain several modules. Okay, but they cover a broad set of topics. So let's say with this particular learning path, it's talking about architect-based solutions in Azure. So the modules under this topic will all be under this large or broad set of topic. Okay, so as we can see here, there are several experience points under this learning path, but they all sum up to the total experience points on the learning path that is showing above. All right. Now, when you complete or when you finish a learning path, now you get a new understanding of different aspects of the technology that you are studying. Unlike the module, you get a skill or an understanding on one topic. With the learning path, you gain a broader understanding of the whole thing. Okay, and then you earn a trophy instead of a badge when you complete the learning path. So if we are going to make it clear, okay, let's add a unit to it. So there's also a unit, but that one is a small chunk of information that is included in a module. So if we are to rank it from the lowest to the highest, there's going to be a module, it's going to be a unit, a module, and then a learning path. So the units are in the module, and then the modules are in the learning path. Okay. So with the units, okay, that is the smallest, is a small chunk of information. Okay. So even if you don't have time, if you are a very busy person, you can actually learn something new and then gain experience points by finishing a unit. Okay. It's only a few minutes. It's going to take a few minutes to complete. So yeah, that is the difference between a module and a learning path, and also a unit. Okay, now why is Microsoft providing these resources? Okay, so why would you have to learn and then complete, gain skills and everything? One of the main purpose is to get certified or get certifications from Microsoft. Okay, so aside this wonderful platform that Microsoft is giving us, Microsoft is also offering certification exams for students who are interested in showcasing their skills and knowledge in Microsoft technologies. And there are so many types of these Microsoft certifications. There's the Azure Fundamentals certification. There's the Dynamics 365 certification. There's a Power Platform fundamental certification, and they actually rank from fundamental or basics to expert. Okay, so there's the fundamental certification, there's the associate certification, and then there's the expert certification. So you can, as a student or as a new person on the platform, you can start with the fundamentals, and then you grow your way, you learn your way up to associate and then to expert. All right. Now, before we even see how we can apply for these certifications, let's see why the benefits of being certified or getting a certificate. Why should you become Microsoft certified? Okay. Now, aside it being a Microsoft certification, generally when you gain a certificate or when you get a certificate, it actually helps to demonstrate your expertise to your employers, right? It increases your chances of getting hired or promoted. So now, earning a Microsoft certificate, now you can see that it can benefit your career in so many ways. Okay, so it can enhance your knowledge and skills in Microsoft technologies because you are learning and building your skills on Microsoft technologies on the Microsoft Learn platform. So when you finish a learning path and then you sit for a certification exam and you pass, now you've gained the knowledge, you have the skills on a certain or particular Microsoft technology, which you can actually demonstrate or put it on your resume, which also increases your chances of getting hired or promoted. It's another benefit of becoming certified. Also, it improves your earning potential. Yes, you tend to earn more if you are certified in certain aspects of technologies. Okay, you also gain access to exclusive Microsoft resources and communities. Yes, they are such as let's say the Microsoft MVP certification. Okay, now that is an exclusive community that not everyone can join. Okay, you are supposed to, have a certain certificate or some kind of skill before you can, fall into that rank. I don't know if you guys are getting what I'm saying. Also, it can help you demonstrate your proficiency in Microsoft technologies to your potential employers. And it helps you to stand out from other students who do not have certifications. So you have, let's say you sit for the Microsoft Azure Fundamentals. Now you have this kind of certificate in your resume. I mean, come on, you stand out. You stand out from other students who do not have, that kind of certification. So it's very, very important to be certified or Microsoft certified, right? So yeah, so we've talked about these benefits, as you can see on the screen. I think my screen froze, so as I was talking about them, they didn't appear. But yeah, as you can see them, it enhances your knowledge and skills. It increases your chances of getting hired. It improves your learning potential, helps you stand out from other students. So many benefits why you should be certified. Okay, so now let's see how you can actually get certified. How do you go about it? What's the process? So first, you should visit the Microsoft Learn website, as it's shown on your screen. Once you visit the website, you can choose a certification path. Okay, so before you even start learning, just know what you want to do. Okay, so I want to learn something on Azure. I want to get a certification on Azure. So now you know you are focusing on Azure. So you choose that path. Okay, now you enroll and then you start learning. So you start with, you can take a learning path and then you start learning the modules one after the other. Now, once you are done, you get your trophy and then you take a practice test. Okay, Microsoft provides practice tests for people who want to take their certifications. And this one, it actually assess your readiness for the certification exam. Okay, so this test, they actually stimulate the actual exam. Okay, and they help you identify the areas where you may need to focus your study. So they actually help a lot in getting your certification. Now, once you are done with the practice test and you feel like, okay, now I feel like I'm ready, you can register for the certification exams on the site or the link that has been provided here. Once you pass, you can get your certificate and then you share it with your friends and then your potential employees on LinkedIn or social media, anywhere that you want to post. You can add it to your resume and everything. So basically, in conclusion, we'll say that Microsoft Learn is a great resource for preparing for Microsoft certification exam. Okay, when you roll in the appropriate courses and complete the learning modules and hands-on labs and also take practice tests, you can actually register for the certification exam and your certificate and demonstrate your proficiency in Microsoft technologies. So it's actually a great resource or platform that has been provided by Microsoft, and I would encourage each one on this call to visit the website and then learn more about it, try and then take more learning paths. You know, it's free for students. Okay, the certifications, they are free for students, so just try your hands on it and then, you know, do something. All right, so I think I'll end my presentation here. Thank you guys very much. My name is Victor Nanade, and yeah.
All right, Victor. Thank you very much. Thank you for a very credible presentation, which showcases or took us through how to get or sign up for any like different between modules and learning parts, and how to get your certified by Microsoft, right? So Thomas Festus, who is a Microsoft MVP and data analyst, will be joining us very soon. He was on the call, but he left for something, so he'll be on the call very soon to take us through data analytics using Power BI. So let me talk let me say something on how do you call it, the Microsoft lane, right? So for the Microsoft Learn, you don't need to be like a student ambassador to access. Anyone can access Microsoft Learn. Anyone can access Microsoft Learn. All you need is a Microsoft account. And in a Microsoft account, you have to use your name, use your real your government's name that appears on your ID. Don't go and use any other name, right? Because once your certificate, once you apply, once you write the exams, the name on your Microsoft Learn will appear in your certificate. So make sure to use your name, right? That appears on your ID cards. Right. So make sure to also Victor also mentioned there are features like you can use Microsoft Learn, track your changes, the learning part you have, and also once you're on if you want to be a Microsoft Learn student ambassador, if you want to be a Microsoft Learn student ambassador, and you are already learning on Microsoft Learn, it gives you, or okay, it helps you to gain more points whilst they are considering people who want to become Microsoft, who apply to become Microsoft Lens. So there was an update that came up I think some few months ago, couple of I think some few months ago. Yeah, that showed that if you're you are a student who's on who is learning on Microsoft Learn, you stand a chance and you gain some points. You are completing learning parts, modules. You stand a chance to once you apply, you stand a chance to being chosen, right? So and also they apply the same thing they said, and also I made two of our colleagues in across University. They follow the same path, and they did like they got accepted into the program. And one of them is here called Ernest, and another one called Klein. They got accepted into the program. So these are some of the things that Microsoft Learn does, right? Because if you are a Microsoft Learn student ambassador, you can able like you can get, so Microsoft Learn, like you're an ambassador for Microsoft Learn, right? You're an ambassador for Microsoft Learn, and once you're a Microsoft Learn student ambassador, once you are on once you're a Microsoft Learn student ambassador, you promote Microsoft Learn as you are doing the modules learning part to your your community, right? And our community are students on campus and other campuses, right? I don't know whether Mr. Thomas Festus is here. Okay, so Thomas Festus is here, right? So Thomas Festus, I can see you're on the call, so kindly come off mute and kindly start. So let's just welcome Thomas Festus as he takes us through data analytics with Power BI. All right. Think he's on the call, so definitely you join. Maybe is still setting up. You definitely join unmute and start his presentation very soon. So let us be on a call. This is the exact time he's supposed to come. So he definitely unmute and talk. Maybe setting up his station and all that. Yeah. Hello, Thomas Festus. Please, we can't hear you if you are talking. We can't hear you right now.
Hello, friends.
Yes, Thomas.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you now.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Can you see my screen as well?
Yes, I can see your screen and I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So this actually will be on how to get started with data analytics, and then possibly if the time permits, we'll look at how you can get started with Power BI as well.
Because before you be able to get into Power BI or do anything analytics, you need to understand the field of data analytics, some of the things that goes on within the space, and some of the roles that you also engage in. So if your goal as a student is to pursue career options in the data space, then I would want to use this opportunity to help you to explore the space, understand what's involved within the space, and why do you even have to get into the data space. Then we will take a short presentation on how to get started with Power BI. So before I dive into the section, I would introduce myself briefly, then I can dive into it. So my name is Thomas Festus. I'm the founder and then lead trainer at Festman Learning Hub. So at Festman, we provide digital skills training in data science, data analytics, UX design, financial modeling, and then data engineering. Now you can find me on all the social media platforms. So I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter at CTFestus. And then you can also find more information about me on hub.festman.io. Now, I'm a Microsoft Data Platform MVP, a Microsoft Certified Data Analyst Associate, and then a Microsoft Certified Trainer. Professionally, I'm a trained and a chartered accountant. I work full-time with Zenith Bank, Ghana Limited, as a finance and data analyst. So this section, I would run you through data analytics, some of the roles that we have in the data space, and then some of the skills that you can develop if you want to pursue full-time career options in the data space. So before we dive into all that, I would introduce data analytics, what data analytics is all about, some of the types of data analytics, and then some of the career options that we have, the skills that you need to develop for each of these roles. And then we also look at the data analytics landscape, how the job market looks like. And then I'll support this with some of the research that we have received so far within the data space. So first, let's look at what data is. Now, when you talk about data, data is collection of facts. And this might include numbers, images, videos, audios, and other observations. So basically, data is fact or a collection of information. And this might include numbers. So for this webinar, for example, we can count the number of us who are on the call. That number represents data. You can think about the WhatsApp messages that you have received today. These are examples of data. You can think about the videos that you have watched on YouTube and other social media platforms today. All these are examples of data. You can think about the people that you are in the room with at the moment. This is an observation, which is an example of data. So data is collection of facts. So this may be numbers, as I mentioned, or images and other observations. Now, let's then dive into what data analytics is all about. So when you talk about data analytics, we are looking at the process where we examine data. Okay, so here we are looking at raw data, and our goal here is to examine the data to discover trends and patterns. So for example, the Microsoft Students Learn Ambassadors can decide to look at the number of participants that we have had or they have had over the period. Now they can decide to pick the number of attendants for each of the webinars that they have had. Their goal is to examine that to identify whether there are any patterns in the data. Analyze the data to understand that when you organize webinars around this particular month or within this particular day, these are the numbers that we get. So with this, we can say, okay, going forward, we should organize all our webinars in this particular day at this particular time. So the numbers, the number of people who are on the call at this moment, is just data. Now the team can pick that data and they can decide to examine that data. Their goal for examining the data is to really understand what is going on, to identify whether there are any patterns or trends, and they can use that one to make data-driven decisions, or they can use it to plan their future events. So at every call or at every webinar, they can collect the data, and then they can decide to analyze that data over time. and really understand what is going on and use that insight to drive decisions. So this is what data analytics is about. The goal here is to examine that raw data that we have and then to get insights and use that insight to drive decisions. And this is being done by almost every business in almost every industry. Organizations of all sizes are collecting data, and they are not ending there. They are collecting the data and then apply analytics on that data to see whether they will find any insights or trends that they can use in making decisions. Now, when you come into the data analytics stage or the data analytics landscape, we have four main. You see some places where we have five, but we have four main types of data analytics that can be applied at any time. When you go to some organizations, they perform all these five steps when they are performing analytics, depending on the goal of the analytics that they are performing. In some organizations, depending on where they are within their data maturity curve, they might not be doing some of these analytics. So at its core, we have four. We have descriptive analytics, we have diagnostic analytics, we have predictive analytics, and we have prescriptive analytics. Now, these types of analytics are being driven by the goal or the mission of the analytics that you want to perform. So I'm going to look at each of them. Now, let's start with the descriptive analytics. Now, we perform descriptive analytics in order to understand the question, what happened in the past. So the goal of performing descriptive analytics is to understand what happened or what is happening. So that's the core mission or goal of performing descriptive analytics. We perform descriptive analytics to understand what is going on. So for example, a company can sit back and decide to analyze their data to understand how their performance has been over the past 5 years. If you take platforms like, let's say, Jumia can pick 5 years of their data and understand the orders that has been placed on their platform over the past 5 years. Now, doing that kind of analysis to be able to understand what happened over the past 5 years, what has happened to the number of customers that we have, what has happened to the number of orders that we have received on our platform. So the goal of descriptive is to really understand the past, to understand historical performance. This could be, as a student, you can decide to sit back and analyze your performance, your academic performance over the years. Now, your goal is to understand how you have performed over the past few years since you came to campus. So you can say, okay, every second semester my performance goes down, or maybe every second semester I do well. Now, based on that, you have been able to understand what has been your performance over the years, and this can help you to make some future decisions. So with descriptive analytics, here we apply techniques to summarize large data. And our goal here is to present key insights to our stakeholders to help them understand what has happened in the past. So here it involves developing reports, dashboards. And our goal is to throw more light into what has happened. So if you take a look at my role as in a bank, for example, every single day we analyze our deposits to be able to understand, okay, yesterday this was our total deposits, this is our total withdrawals, these are the number of customers that we acquired yesterday. So all these is to help us to understand what has happened in the past. Then we have diagnostic analytics. Now, as you can infer from the name, diagnostic. So here we want to dig deeper to understand why. So here we are doing a deeper analysis to understand what happened in the past. So for example, as a student, you might want to analyze your own performance over the years. Now, one of the things that you discovered when you did your descriptive analytics is that every second semester, your performance improves. Now, at the diagnostic analytics, you are taking that insight. Now you want to dig deeper to understand why is it that every second semester, my performance goes up. Now, doing this, you'll be able to understand the factors that drives your performance. And you'll be able to make decisions based on that. So you realize, okay, every semester, maybe I report to school on time, I reduce the number of outings that I go, I reduce my engagements, or maybe going out and those kind of things. You'll be able to analyze this and be able to understand all the factors that account for the high performance in your your academics, and you can use that to make decisions. So when you are doing diagnostic, you want to dig deeper to understand why. So here it helps us to understand why did it happen. So for example, if you take COVID-19, for example, as a country, we can perform descriptive analytics to understand how the number of cases have been over the past few years. Then doing the diagnostic, those insights that we found, we sit back and understand. So why is it that this particular month, the number of COVID-19 cases dropped? Why is it that within this particular month, the number of cases is going up? So when you are doing diagnostic analytics, we really want to understand why did it happen. So something happened in the past, which you discovered in your descriptive. Now, when you are doing the diagnostic, you want to dig deeper this time to really understand what actually happened. So most organizations do that. You don't just end there. Okay, our sales drops every December. You don't just end there. They take it further. And now they want to dig deeper to find out, well, why is it that every December our number of customers go down, the number of orders goes up? They want to know why. And that's what is known as diagnostic analytics. Then we also have predictive. So now this is very straightforward. With predictive, we are using data to predict what could happen in future. So here, based on what has happened in the past, based on some of the key insights that you gathered from your diagnostic analytics, you can put that together to predict what will happen in future. So let's take football as an example. Those of you who like football, for me, I'm not a football fan, but those of you like football, let's say Chelsea and Barcelona. Now I'm taking you through the entire process. Now, when you are doing diagnostic analytics, you can go back and look at their performance when they meet, what has been the score. So we are analyzing it to understand the pattern in that. Okay, every time they meet, maybe Chelsea's home, Barcelona will win. Anytime they come to Barcelona's home, maybe Barca also wins, and then you can do those kind of analysis. Now, when you are doing that descriptive, you want to understand what has happened. Now, based on that, you came up with some key insights. Okay, let's say every time Chelsea changes in the first half, Barca wins. Now, based on your descriptive, this is the key insight. This is the pattern that you discovered. Now, when you come to the diagnostic stage, you want to understand why. So why is it that when Chelsea makes changes, every first half, Barca will win? Or maybe when they change, they bring in this particular person. When they change, they bring in maybe a defender or maybe a midfielder or something like this. And this might be the reason why they do that. Then based on that, look at the coming match that they are going to have. What might happen? So you're not just making predictions, but you're making predictions based on what has happened in the past. So here, our goal here is to predict or to estimate what will happen in future. And that's what we do at predictive analytics. So here you build machine learning models, you build statistical models that are able to predict the future outcomes. So here we apply statistical methods and the machine learning techniques to do those kind of things. Then we have predictive analytics. Now, when you are doing predictive and prescriptive analytics, so here this is an example of predictive. So based on what has happened, we are forecasting or we are predicting what will happen in future. Then we have prescribe. Okay, so here we have prescriptive. So here it helps you to answer questions. How can we make it happen? So based on your predictions, okay, Chelsea is going to win against Barcelona. So you work with a Chelsea team. Now, based on that prediction, you can recommend some of the things that the organization can implement in order to avoid or to make something happen. So based on your prediction, you have realized, okay, it's possible Barca will win. Now you are at the side of Chelsea. Based on that, you can make recommendations to management. So based on this and this, when we start the match, we shouldn't make changes in the first half. When you are making changes, we need to bring this particular person in. We need to take this particular person out. So when you are making predictions, prescriptive analytics, here you are making recommendations that the organization will be able to achieve whatever objective, whatever the predictive analytics is telling them. Okay, so here our goal is how can we make it happen? So you are making predictions, you are making recommendations. So let me give you an example. Those of you who use Netflix, now you see that sometimes they recommend, even Netflix it's the highest. Let's come to YouTube as an example. Now, when I open my YouTube account, you have a home page. My home page is going to be different from your home page. Now, based on my past watching behavior, maybe I'm somebody who watches music videos, or someone who watches video on maybe AI and machine learning. When you come to my homepage, you see something different. And you see that almost all the content on my homepage are related to those content that I watch on the platform. If YouTube develops a recommendation system, they can look at your past behavior and they can make recommendations that, okay, based on what you have watched, these are some of the videos that you might be interested in. Now, let's take Facebook as an example. They do it a lot. They have built a recommendation system that are able to recommend friends to you. So based on the people that you are connected to on the platform, based on your activities and your interest on the platform, they can look at people who are related, who have similar interests like you, who are connected to people who are connected to you, and they can use that algorithms to come up with recommendations that are able to subscribe or that are able to recommend some people that you need to connect to on the platform. So here they are using the data to prescribe something to you. This can be applied in the healthcare industry, where they can analyze someone's medical history, and based on that, they can recommend appropriate medications for you. So here is helping to answer the question, how can we make it happen? Now let's look at the data, the job market for the data landscape. Now, according to a report by IBM in 2020, every person on this planet generated 1.7 megabytes of data in just a second. Now think about this, every single person, every second generates 1.7 megabytes of data. Now think about even yourself, within this month, how many WhatsApp messages have you sent? How many videos have you watched? When you are watching YouTube videos, somebody somewhere is collecting data about you. When you visit a website, somebody somewhere is collecting data about you. So you might be contributing to data, but you might not be aware. In 2020 alone, about 1.7 megabytes of data were deleted by every single person. Now, it's estimated that over the next 3 years, up to 2025, global data creation is projected to grow to more than 463 exabytes of data. Now, you guys are into IT and all that. You know the exabytes and those megabytes and how many megabytes makes exabyte and all that. Now, 463 exabytes of data is equal to 463 billion gigabytes of data. 463 billion gigabytes of data. Now, think about it. This is very huge. And this is going to be generated every single day. So what it means is that organizations will be looking out for people who can take this overwhelming amount of data and help the organizations to make insights out of that data. So this means that the market demand for data specialists.
Yeah, what's up? What's up?
What it means is that the market demand for data professionals is going to experience an increase in demand, and it has even started already. So as the data keeps getting bigger, the need for skilled data analysts who can transform this data into actionable insights will also be increasing. And that's the more reason why we need to also look at exploring options within the data space. Now let's discuss research or a report by World Economic Forum on the future of work. So based on the future of work report by World Economic Forum, that's what they came up with. By 2025, new jobs are going to emerge, whilst other jobs are going to be displaced as a result of the division of labor between humans and machines or robots. Now, they highlighted top 10 skills that are going to experience a growing demand. Then they also highlighted top 10 skills that are going to experience decrease in demand. Now, focus is to look at the jobs that are going to experience an increase in demand. Now, the number one on the list is data analyst and data scientist. The second is AI and machine learning specialist. The third is big data specialist. I'm going to end here. I won't talk about the other ones. Now, think about these three top roles: data analyst and data scientist, AI and machine learning specialist, and big data specialist. All these three roles have something in common. They are all within the data space. Think about data analyst and data scientist. Within the data, AI and machine learning specialists, they work with data. Big data specialists, they also work with data. So it means that as organizations are collecting data, these professionals are going to be indispensable. So think about this. If you want to look for opportunities within the tech space, then look at exploring options within the data space as well. Now, let me take you through another research which was done by Tableau. So Tableau is one of the business intelligence platforms, which is owned by Salesforce. So they did a research with another consulting company. So they asked hiring managers, what skill do they rank highest when they are looking for entry-level candidates? So when they are hiring entry-level candidates, what skill do they look out for? Now, they highlighted 5 of them. The first is data skills or data literacy. Second is communication and collaboration skills. Third is basic computing skills or computer skills. Then fourth is project management skills. And the last one, or the last 5, is the public speaking skills. Now, you see that data skills is here again. That this is one of the skills that they look out for when they are hiring entry-level candidates. So regardless of the role that you are going to play within wherever that you are going to work, your ability to make sense out of data is going to be more crucial. You need to think about this. Now, from the same report, they came up with this insight. They also asked them, what skills do they anticipate that is going to experience an increase in demand or increase in importance in the next 5 years? They also mentioned data skill as number 1, communication and collaboration skills, research skills, project management, and computer programming skills. So here again, we have data skills as number 1. And what they said is that data skills have risen in importance over the past 5 years. And this trend isn't likely to stop anytime soon. So over the past 5 years, we have experienced increasing relevance or importance of data skills. And this trend is not going to stop anytime soon. You need to also think about that as well as you are exploring options within the tech space. Now, they also asked this question: how important are data skills to each of the following departments when hiring entry-level candidates? So listed some of the departments that they have and how relevant data skills are. Now, data skills cut across almost all the industry. IT, 92%, product management, 89%, research and development, 86%, finance, 85%, human resources, 77%, business admin, 77%, marketing, 76%, and sales, 74%. So what this tells you that every department will require people who have strong foundation in data in order to succeed. So think about this as well. Yeah, ability to analyze data will open a lot of opportunities for you. Now let's look at some of the roles that we have in the data space. We are going to look at data engineers, database administrators. Let's look at data scientists, business analysts, and all that. So let's take a look at each of them. Now we have data engineers. Now, who are data engineers, or what's data engineering? So if you have been following discussions within the data space, one of the roles that you come across is the data engineers or data engineering. Now we talk about data engineering here. We are looking at the process of developing and designing systems that will make it easier for organizations to collect, store, and analyze data. So data engineering is building or designing systems for collecting, storing, and analyzing data. So the role of data engineers is to design and build pipelines that will ensure that the organization is always having the right amount of data. So organizations can't just collect data. They need somebody who will be able to, or someone who will be able to develop the systems and the pipelines that will make it easier for them to collect, store, and then analyze that data. So they ensure that data scientists and data analysts have the right data that they can work with. And this has seen a huge increase in demand over the past few years. Then we also have BI analyst, that is business intelligence analyst. So business intelligence analysts use data to help organizations to make sound business decisions. So right now, when companies are making decisions, they don't just wake up and start making the decisions. They want to make sure that every step that they take is being backed by data. So BI analysts ensure that the organization is having that data to make that decision. So what they do is that they leverage various data tools such as Power BI to help organizations to analyze their data and get insights, and they can then use that insight to make decisions. So the core mandate or role of BI analyst is to make sure that the data is always presented in the format that will help organizations to make smart and real-time decisions. Then we also have business analysts. So business analysts use data to help organizations to maximize their effectiveness by making relevant and data-driven decisions. So they analyze organizations' areas and then identify areas where organizations can improve their efficiency and help them to become more competitive. And this role also involves the usage of data. Then we have business intelligence developers. So they transform data into reports, visualizations, and other formats that will empower organizations to make data-driven decisions. So they make sure that the data is presented in the format that will enable the organizations to make up-to-date decisions. So they develop reports, dashboards, visualizations that will make it easier for their audience to understand the business insights. Then we have data scientists. So data scientists perform deeper analysis and develop machine learning and predictive models that are able to solve complex business problems. So as data scientists, what they do is that they pick data, understand the data, and then on top of that, they train machine learning models that are able to learn from the data and able to predict what could happen in future. So here, they perform deeper analysis of the data. And on top of that, they develop models that are able to predict outcomes. Then we have the data analyst. So they collect, they clean, they interpret data to discover trends and answer business questions. Now, their role involves more of cleaning data. So they spend more time trying to understand data and trying to communicate their findings to stakeholders. Now let's look at the difference between data analysts, data scientists, and data engineers. Now let's look at the problem solving. What problems do they solve? Data analysts analyze the data to discover trends and patterns. So they analyze the data to understand what is going on, and they can use that insight to help companies to answer their business questions. Then with data scientists, their goal is to perform deeper analysis, develop machine learning models that are able to predict future outcomes. Then data engineers are to collect, manage, and convert raw data into usable formats so that data analysts or other professionals can interpret it to help companies to make data-driven decisions. So they ensure that the organization is always having the right data to make decisions. Now, what skills do you need if you want to go into any of these? For data analysts, Microsoft Excel skills is very key. Your ability to query data using structured query language, SQL, is also key. Data visualization, business intelligence like Power BI, and your analytical thinking is also very key in this role. If you want to go into data scientists or data science, you need to learn machine learning, advanced statistics, predictive analytics, and you need to know how to code in R or Python. Then with data engineers, you need to have solid foundation in relational and non-relational databases, how to work with big data platforms like Hadoop and then MongoDB, and then you should also have some background in cloud computing. Okay. Now, we also have industry-specific rules. If maybe you are somebody who has background in marketing, you can apply your marketing knowledge together with analytics to become marketing analyst. So marketing analysts, what they do is that they apply their analytics to help companies to make data-driven marketing decisions. We also have finance analyst. So here you are applying analytics within the finance industry, like what I do as in a bank. Then we also have HR analytics. So we have people analytics. So you have people who are specialized in HR, and they look at how they can apply data to what they do within their role. Then we also have healthcare analysts. So for them, they analyze data within the healthcare industry to help companies or hospitals to make relevant data-driven recommendations. So that's the breakdown of each of them. So marketing analysts help companies to decide which products and services that they should sell, as well as what customers they should target and at what price. Then we also have financial analysts. So they use data to guide investment decisions. Where should the companies invest? What type of products should they invest in? All these are done by finance analysts. Then we also have the HR analyst, who also use HR data to help companies to make appropriate recommendations, like who they should hire, who they should fire, and what type of training do they have to provide their staff to make sure they improve their efficiency. We also have product analysts. So they use data to understand how to make products amazing, how to delight their customers, and how to make the product useful for end users. They also have risk analysts. So they use financial data to help companies to manage their risk. And the healthcare analysts, just like I explained, they use data to improve healthcare delivery and outcomes using data from different sources. Now, if you want to become a data analyst or any of the skills that we have mentioned, these are the core skills that you need: SQL, how to use Excel, Power BI, Python, or R. Now, aside the technical side, you also need some soft skills, like your communication skills should be on point. Be able to communicate in a simple way that people will be able to understand. Your problem-solving skills must also be on point, critical thinking, business acumen, and your ability to work in teams, because you will not be working in isolation when you start your role as a data analyst or as a data professional. You work with people from almost all the backgrounds, like marketers, project managers, product managers, sales personnel, and all that. So you need to learn how to work with other people, okay? And how do you do? So develop your technical skills, like Excel, Power BI, work on projects, participate in data challenges, attend data hackathons, where you can participate in competitions and work with other people. So these are the things that will help you to start your career in the data space. Now, as I mentioned, if you notice, most of the skills that require, I mentioned Power BI as one of them. So Power BI is a business intelligence platform. Now, being a BI or business intelligence platform, it helps companies to get insights from their data. So using Power BI, you'll be able to gather data or connect to data from multiple sources. Now, Power BI gives you all the tools that you need to analyze that data and visualize it in the form that will make it easier for your audience to understand what is going on. So I'm going to pause here, and finally, if there are any questions, then I'll spend just a few minutes to take you through the platform, that's Power BI, and we can wrap up. So friends, if there are questions, let me know, then I can continue.
All right, so okay, Victor Nana has a question. So Victor Nana, kindly come off mute and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Festus. Could you? So my question is, let's say I have a little bit of experience. Let's say I know my way around these technical skills that are needed to become a data analyst. So I know my way around Excel, SQL, Power BI, Tableau, and then R. Do I consider myself, or can I consider myself, or can I call myself maybe a junior data analyst, or there are more things to do before I can actually give myself that title?
Okay, great. So yes, so we have already looked at what data analysts do. So in that, so you know how to use all these skills to get insight from data. Okay, so we don't have any specific criteria or skill set that you need before you call yourself as a data analyst. So some people might not be in a typical data analyst roles, but in their role that they are doing, it involves the use of data. if you are able to make sense out of data, if you're able to get insight from data, then you can call yourself as a data analyst. So here you don't need to have masters in data science or data analytics before you call yourself as a data analyst. If your role involves the usage of data and you're able to make sense out of data and use that data to make decisions, it's enough to call yourself a data analyst.
All right, sure. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
All right, so Mr. Thomas, so some of us are like they want to know, like you showed how to get started and all that, but how do you actually get started? Can you share a brief story about yourself, how you got started, some of the projects you did, and how you get started in data analytics? How do you maybe start with Excel or Power BI? Like a brief story to motivate some of us here who are really interested in data analytics and using starting from years.
Okay, great. Okay. So my journey started when I was a student at University of Cape Coast. So when I started level 100, a boot camp organized one of our departments, one of the aspirants organized Excel training. One of them organized Excel training, so I attended the training, which was on Excel. When throughout the training, like I fall in love with Excel, looking at some of the things that you are able to do with Excel. So from there, I decided to learn more. So I enrolled in other online courses and platforms to learn more about Excel. So in the course of learning Excel, I don't have IT background. I did accounting at University of Cape Coast. So through learning the Excel, that's when Power BI came in. So I discovered Power BI, and then looking at how Power BI works, the visualizations, the interactivity and everything, I really fall in love with data analytics, and it became like a course that I was actually reading in school. Though as part of my study, I didn't take any course or any program relating to that. But aside that, I was taking it as one of my courses that I was taking on campus. When I have my free time, I would go to the library, get to videos on YouTube and other platforms like Coursera to learn all those kind of things. So through that engagement, CS like I saw what data can do. And then I was attending conferences, so I get to know about some of the skills companies are looking out for. So I realized that Excel is actually one of the core skills most companies need. So I decided to develop my skills in that. The other thing is that even though I don't have background in computer science or any IT, but from Excel gave me a lot of understanding. It gave me the motivation to explore other programming languages. So advice I always give my students or people who want to go into data analytics or data science is to start with Excel, especially if you are coming from non-IT background or non-technical background. Start with Excel. Excel is very friendly, it's easier to learn, but the knowledge that you get in Excel will help you to pick up other skills along the line. So we see that most people would try to learn a lot of things at the same time. I've been using Excel for the past 7 years. I started even learning Python somewhere like last year. I didn't rush myself. I decided to learn Excel and build my skills in Excel. And that has really helped me to learn SQL, learn Python. And there's no programming language that I want to learn today that I wouldn't be able to learn. Because most of the core things, most of the things in those programs that are very complex to understand, you'll be able to do it in Excel easily. And once you have that background, trust me, you can easily pick up those skills when you want to go into programming. So when you are starting out, don't be in a rush. We see young people who want to learn Python, want to learn R, they want to learn a lot of things at the same time. Just take your time, pick one skill at a time, develop your skills inside out. As you go along, if you want to transition, if you want to learn or you want to move into a different platform, it will become easier for you. There are lots of opportunities inside the data space. That's very true. Whatever that you are, if you want to become an accountant, if you want to become a finance analyst, add data skills to it. That's one thing that will differentiate you from other people. So you don't need to have a tech background. Just start with Excel. Just start with Excel. Build your skills in Excel. Anytime you want to learn any other thing, You'll be able to learn it even on your own. So that would be my take on that.
All right, right, a great answer. So start with Excel. Start with Excel if you want to start your journey in data analytics. You see the first tool we have here is Excel, Microsoft Excel. So start there are online resources on. You also mentioned YouTube, Coursera, and other platforms. So start with Excel. Learn Excel, and after Excel, you can jump into Power BI, building project by yourself, working on. And also, once you build the project, as yesterday, say like LinkedIn, you post on your LinkedIn, and also don't let how do you call it? This inferiority, how do you, imposter syndrome? Yes, imposter syndrome gets into you. Just do your best, like little by little, you get there. So, Thomas Festus, so can we jump straight to the Power BI? Yes, so the Power BI,
Okay.
and yes,
Yes. So
that
before
session.
I
Yes.
go on with the Power BI, let me check that since you brought in the LinkedIn thing. So in my first role after school, it wasn't my role doesn't involve data analytics. So one thing that really helped me to keep on moving is LinkedIn. So I'll just pick any data at all, I'll analyze it and I'll share it on LinkedIn. So some of the comments that came in and other things motivated me to learn more. If you are starting, especially when you're a student, because you are not in a typical, or you won't get the opportunity to put that skill in practice, you might learn the thing and then you just put it aside and you would forget it. Now, to keep you going, use LinkedIn as a platform to showcase your skills. So pick any data at all, analyze it, visualize it, develop a dashboard or any report, and then put it on LinkedIn. That's what I was doing whilst I was on campus. And that kept me moving. So just do that and it will help you. It will help you, it will help to sell you. It will encourage you to learn more and keep on sharpening your skills. Okay. So let me dive into the Power BI. So I'll give you a high level introduction to Power BI if you want to get started. Power BI is not showing up in there. Let me share my entire screen instead. Okay, so now this is Power BI. So as I mentioned earlier, Power BI is business intelligence platform or tool that helps you to work with multiple data, analyze them, and get business insights. Now, Power BI is developed such a way that every person will be able to easily analyze data. Regardless of your background, you can use Power BI to analyze the data and get insights. Now, Power BI works with or has a lot of data connectors. Now, organizations have data in different formats and then on different systems and platforms. But Power BI has a wide range of data connectors that will help you to connect to those data. Now, Power BI is not like a database where you have the data that you want to analyze inside Power BI. No. Always, the data will come from somewhere. The data might come from maybe online platform. It might come from a database, or it might come from Microsoft Excel workbook. You'll be able to connect that data. If you're a data scientist, you work with R or Python, you also have data connectors or integrations on these platforms, which enable you to utilize some of your code within Power BI. So when you want to use Power BI, the first stage is about the data that you are going to work with. You have to know where the data is coming from. Is the data coming from a database? Is it coming from Excel workbook? Or is it coming from online source? You have to know where the data is coming from. Then after you have been able to determine where the data is coming from, then the next step is to get the appropriate connector that will enable you to connect to that data. So when you open Power BI for the first time, you see this window. Here, you see the top here, we have file, we have home, we have insert, we have modeling, we have view, and we have help. If you are somebody who has been using Microsoft Excel or any of the Office applications, you see that this is familiar. So in Excel, for example, we have the home tab, we have the insert, we have the view, we have the help. What we don't have is modeling. So you see that the user interface is much like using any of the Office applications. We also have the file tab, which is across almost all the Microsoft platforms. So when you open Power BI for the first time, you'll be directed to a canvas. So this is the canvas. So this is where you develop your reports within Power BI. So here, you see that we have tabs here. These are views. So what we are looking at the moment is the report view. This is where you build and keep, this is where you keep and build your reports. Then we also have the data view. This is where you take a look at the data that you have. And then we also have the model view. This is where you'll be able to perform data modeling by creating relationships among the multiple tables that you are going to work with. So in most of the analysis that you are going to do, you see that you have data coming from multiple sources or multiple tables. Modeling allows you to keep a link between all the tables that you want to work with. So here we are the report view. I can click on this to take me to the data view. Now at the moment, we don't have any data, so you won't see anything here. Then you go to the model view, you'll be able to see your data in the form of a diagram. Okay, so I'm going to load data, so you use that one to explain some of these things. So as I mentioned, the first stage in your Power BI data analytics stage or process is connecting to the data. So you have to know where the data is coming from. So here on the home tab, you see that we have data. We see get data. We have these quick access, but I won't go through this. But you see that we have a drop down. When you click on the drop down, these are some of the common data connectors that we have. So you can connect data from Excel workbook. You can connect data from a database like Microsoft SQL Server. You can import data from a website. You can also import data from a text or CSV file. But if you want to see all the data connectors, then you can click on more. This will show you all the data connected that is supported within Power BI. So here, you have all the data here. So you see all, when you scroll down, you see that we have a lot of data connectors. Some of them may not be familiar to you, okay, depending on your experience and where you have worked. So here, some of the common ones that you see here includes PDF. So if you have data in PDF, it can be analyzed within Power BI. If you have data in Microsoft Access, it can be analyzed within Power BI. If you have data in Oracle database or Microsoft SQL Server, it can be used here. If you have data in MySQL, it can be used here as well. Then we also have SharePoint. We also have Dynamics 365. Google Analytics is also here. If you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, it can also be worked with. Those of you who are accountants can also work with QuickBooks Online. Those of you who are into project management, you can also work with Smartsheets. All these data sources are here. You see the R and the Python. You can leverage your Python or R scripts within Power BI. Okay, so these are the connectors that we have within Power BI. Now let's get started with an example. So here, Power BI has made it, the Power BI team has made it easier for you to even use this quick access option here to connect to data. So if you want to work with data from Excel, you just click on this, you'll be able to connect to that data. Microsoft SQL Server is here. Or maybe you have copied the data from somewhere. You want to paste it. You can place it into a blank table. Or you want to try with some sample data. You can load a sample data. That's what we are going to start with, sample data. So here, Power BI has some sample data behind the scenes that you can use for learning. Here, I'm going to click on try sample data. Here it says experiment on your own, load sample data. So I'm going to load a sample data. So now it's going to create a connection. So now it's connecting to that workbook, which is Excel. So now you see that we are here. Okay, we are inside the navigator. This is what you see whenever you are connecting to data. You'll be directed to the navigator window. So within this window, you can see all the data that are available to you from that data source. So here, based on the data we are connecting, these are the two objects that we have. So we have this table. You can select the table and preview it before you even bring it into Power BI. So the data that we are connecting to, we have this financials data here. And then we also have this sheet one, which is here. So for each of them, you can select it and then take a preview of how the data looks like. Is it the same data that you want to analyze? You have to do all that before you bring the data in. Then you see that we have these checkboxes. You can check the data that you want to import. So here, if you have multiple tables or sheets and you want to import all of them, you just have to indicate that you want to import it by checking it. Then you'll be able to load it. Okay, so with this one, we have the same data. One is sitting here, the other is sitting in the sheet. So I'm just going to import the one in the table. I'm just going to import this. So I have to make sure I check the box. Then when you check the box below it, you see that we have load, transform, and then cancel. When you cancel, it means you don't want to import it again. And when you pick transform, it will take you to Power Query. I'll put this in mind. It will take you to Power Query. Now, Power Query is inside Power BI. Now, what Power Query do is that it helps you to clean and transform your data. So the data that you are working with is not clean, like it has some funny characters. The column headers are not in shape and other things. We use the Power Query. So you click transform data, it will take you to the Power Query editor where you can transform the data before you load it into Power BI. Then this load will load the data straight into Power BI. So it means you are not going to Power Query to transform the data. The data is already in the format that you can work with. Then you can load it. But I always tell my students, go to Power Query, check the data before you load it. Because if you load it and there are data cleaning issues, you still have to go back to Power Query. But to avoid this, go to Power Query, inspect the data, and make sure everything is working. Then you can load it. But for this demo, I'm going to do otherwise. I'm going to load it directly into Power BI. Okay, I will take you to the Power Query because of our time. So here we are assuming that the data is perfect that we can work with. So I'm loading it straight into Power BI. Now check something here. Here, under the fields, you see that we don't have anything. Now the data is being loaded. So it has loaded 700 rows of data. So now if you take a look at the fields, it's that the data that we saw is here. I can expand it. We see all the column headers. Just the column headers, you won't see the data itself. Now, if you want to see the data itself, what do? You go to the data view. Where we are is the report view. So I come to my left side, I have the data view. So I click on data and now you'll be able to take a look at the table itself. So this is what we have. This is what we have. So this is the whole data that we have. So we have segment, we have country, product, discount, unit sold, manufacturing price, sales price, gross sales, discount, sales, cost of goods sold, profit, date, month number, month name, and year. So that is the data sitting within the data view. If I go to the model view, you see that this is in the form of a diagram, which I can move around. Now, if I have other tables, I can drag this and create relationships among them. That's where we model the data. Okay, so this is the data that we have. So within this window, you're able to see the data physically, how it looks like. Now, within Power BI, we have DAX. DAX is known as data analysis expressions. Basically, DAX is formulas. It's a formula language that we use with Power BI. So if you are coming from Excel, like I said, when you start with Excel, your life will become easier, especially if you don't have IT background. Now, most of the functions that we have in Excel are also available in Power BI, which will enable you to write DAX to analyze the data. So let's see an example. So here, I'll go to the data view, okay? I'm going to zoom in. Now, for example, here, I have units sold, and I have manufacturing price. So this is the unit that we sold. So we sold like 1,500. Here we have the price, the cost that we incurred in manufacturing the product. So for each of the units sold, if I want to know the total amount I spent in manufacturing that product, I need to multiply this by this, right? So here I can add a column, which is going to be a formula, which is going to pick the unit sold and multiply it by the manufacturing price. So here I can click on new column. Okay, I want to add a new column. So here I have my formula bar, just like in Excel. So I just need to give a name to the column. So I'll call this total manufacturing cost, or maybe yeah, total manufacturing cost, or total manufacturing. Yeah, let's make it cost. So with this, I want to multiply the unit sold. But before I multiply, check something here. So you see that here we have, when you type sum, it pops up just like in Excel. So I can use sum, I can use count, so that we have count here, and find the average, so that we have average. I can use total, which is also available in Excel at the moment. So most of the functions that you have in Excel are also here. If you are coming from finance, we have PV, that's present value. You have FB, all these functions are in Excel. They are also available here. So here the formula I want to keep is very simple. I want to multiply my unit sold by the manufacturing price. I just type unit sold so that it pops up with the name of the table. Just pick this times manufacturing price. So as you type, you get this IntelliSense. Then you can just pick it if it applies. Now I pick this, I'm just multiplying the two columns. When I press enter, so that it has added a column for me, which is multiply the unit sold by the manufacturing price. So this is very simple and easy, though the DAX itself is complex, like a bit complex somewhere, but when you start from the basics and you go up, it becomes easier for you. Okay, so now we have added just the simple example of the formulas that we have in DAX. Now, once you are done analyzing your data with DAX by keeping the formulas and all the custom calculations that you need, the next stage is about building the reports. Now, within Power BI, we have these visualizations that helps you to quickly build reports or visuals. So if you want to visualize the data, it's very simple and easy within Power BI. For example, here you see that we have country and we have the sales. So for each country, you want to know the sales that we have been able to make. I can just click on country by checking the box, and then I just check the sales. So I want to look at sales by country. Now you see that here, it has put this on a map. Now let's wait for it to load. Just like that, I didn't do anything. It just picked a map for me. Now for each country, you'll be able to see the units sold right on the map. Now let me put this aside here. Now you see that we also have segments, and then we also have products. So let's say I want to know the total sales by segments. I can click on segments. That is still activated. So let me click outside and keep another one. So I'll pick segments and I pick sales. Gives it to me this way in the form of a table. So I can just place this one here. Let me click outside and keep another one. So I want products. I want products and their profits. I also have this. So I can bring this one here. So you can just move it around. Just hover on it, just select it and then move it with your mouse. So I can bring it here and then use this to drag it to resize it. So I have my profit by product. Very simple and easy. Let's get another visual. So here we want to look at segments and then their sales amount. I can also bring this one here. Okay, so it's very simple and straightforward. Just select the items that you want, Power BI will pick the visualization for you. So we check here, see that we have a lot of visualizations. We have bar charts, we have line charts, we have panel charts, we have map, we have card, we have KPIs, we have tree map, we also have donor chart and then pie chart. All of them are here. So you just select it, it's created for you. Now with these visualizations that we have created, we can change it at any time. We don't have to delete it before we create a new one. So with this map, if I don't want to use map, I just have to select it. Here, you see that the map is selected because this is showing the map. If I want to change it, I have to make sure I select this. When I select it, I can then come here, click on any other visualization to do the work for me. So here, if I want to use donor chart, I just click on donor. See that this has changed. Now it's no longer showing the map. If I want to change this, let's say I want to pick a tree map, I can pick a tree map so that this has changed. Very simple. Very simple is straightforward. With this, let's change it. So instead of showing a table, we want a funnel chart. I can pick funnel. Now we have this here. Okay. If I also want to change this to, let's say, a bar chart, I pick bar chart. I resize it nicely. It will be here. Now you can see that we have started building the report. Okay, so let's say we want to look at discounts by date. So let's say I pick my date here. I have this here. I can turn this into a line chart, which is best for this type of data. I come to my visualizations. You see that this is a column chart. I can change this and pick line. Whilst this is activated, and pick line charts. Now to show us the trend. Let me resize this. This is too big. I'll resize this here and resize this as well. This one, okay. So creating visualizations or reports within Power BI is not difficult. Just select the fields and then know the appropriate chart to use. That's one key area. Now we have a lot of visualizations, but it doesn't mean that you can pick and choose. You have to make sure always you pick the right chart based on the data that you have. So with this data that we have here, is that this is a trend data or time series data. One of the best visualizations that you can use for this is a line chart. You can't use this with a pie chart. So here, if I pick like a pie chart here, let's select it and change it to a pie chart. So that the whole story is messy, like the whole thing, it distorts the whole thing. It will distort everything. So make sure you understand each chart, each of the charts that we have. Make sure you understand them and know when you can use any of them. They are not there because Microsoft wants you to be using different charts. No, it's there because we have data and the appropriate charts that you can use them to visualize the data. So you need to understand the data and know the right charts that you can use. Okay, there are so many things that you can do with Power BI, but because of our time, I wouldn't go deeper into it. But if you are looking for fundamental courses that you can learn to help you to get started, I'm going to share a link with you to our platform where you can find free Power BI courses that will help you to get started. So with this, we need to have a title, right? For the report, every report must have a title. So inside here, you can go to insert and see that we have text box. So you can click on this to insert a text box. I'll call this Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors 2023. Let's say this is the heading that we want to use. I can highlight it. You see the formatting pane. I can change the font and pick, let's say 28. Let's make it a little bigger. So I can have this and drag it here and then resize it. This would be like a title for this report or dashboard. Okay, so developing reports within Power BI is really, really simple. Let me resize this. I have not used this before, but just because of the demonstration, that's why we have this. Okay, so data like this is one of the best visualizations that you can use maybe use this so you can easily compare the values. Okay. There are so many things that you can do with pivot table and Excel. Sorry, I just had an Excel section. Just completed one Excel bootcamp. So everything is still fresh in my mind. Now you can go ahead and add another visualization. So let's say we want, let's say pie chart, right? So let's pick discount band, the discount that we have offered. So I have this here. So creating reports in Power BI is not difficult, okay? You can do it. Just get started. You'll be fine, okay? So that's why I'm going to end the introduction to Power BI. There are so many things in there, but this is just to whet your appetite and then let you know that the platform is not difficult. You can learn with just a short or a small guidance. If you need help, you can reach out to somebody who is an expert in it. They will help you. You can equally find some videos online, or you can visit hub.festman.io. We have a lot of free courses that can help you to get started. So I'm going to pause here or end here. If you have any questions, you can share with me. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Thomas Festus, for a wonderful session. Okay, so since you are sharing your screen, you can go to your website. You can before you on, you can go to your website and show people like our participants your website so that they will get to know, yes, and some of the free courses you have.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
That would be great. So when you go to app.festival.io, you go to courses. So I'll share the link in the chat very soon. So you copy
It's
it. app.festival.io. I've shared it in the chat and also
okay.
use it to follow along. So when you come to courses, these are the courses on the platform. So you have data analytics using Microsoft Power BI. You also have one here, financial reporting and analysis using Power BI. We also have Microsoft Power BI fundamentals. So I recommend this for all beginners. Then we also have dashboard design with Power BI. Yeah, dashboard design with Power BI. This course is free, so you just click on it. When you click on it, it opens. Then we have this enroll for free. So if you don't have an account, you can sign up here and be able to create an account. When we have an account, you can just click here to enroll. It will require you to log in, then you log in, and you'll be able to get started. So you have some of the courses that are more detailed. That gives you everything that you need. For those ones, you just have to pay some small fees and you'll be able to access it. But we also have free courses in there that you can also use. And our courses are really practical. There are no theories. Everything we demonstrated to you to see how it's being done. So you can use the link to visit our site. You can find some free courses to get started with. If you want more, you can reach out to us. We develop some package for you that will make it easier for you to start your journey in data analytics. Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much, Thomas Festus. So, but if you have any question, we have a Microsoft MVP right here in our midst. If you have any question, kindly raise your hand. Use the raise your hand feature. So as you are waiting to get questions, kindly let's take a picture, like using a together mode. So once you are here, let's take a picture using a together mode. So kindly turn on your camera, right? Just turn on your camera. And let's take a picture with a together mode to show that we attended, also to promote the event for for publicity. Yes. So yes, let me turn on my camera. So if you are here, I'm still waiting for you guys to turn on your camera. I'm still waiting. So if you so I'm still waiting for questions. So if you have any question, kindly raise your hand. Yes. Still waiting. Hello, I don't know your name, but you came yesterday. Like, gentleman, yeah, you. Yes. I'm still waiting. This should not be a hard task. So Victor, where are you? Just put on your camera, Victor. Yes. So waiting. You're about 13 over 13 right here. So okay, let me take let me take the picture. Right here. So let me take right. Yeah, so after we have four that would take like show turn on our camera. So yeah, so thank you very much. So I'll change it from the view to gallery. Yes. So this Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors program called the MLSA Ghana Days. Yeah, which is to bring together professionals, including Microsoft MVPs, and also Microsoft Cloud Advocate to come and talk to us about different Microsoft technologies we have and opportunities also. So the recordings for day one, which was yesterday and today, will be coming off. Will be published on our YouTube channel very soon. Hopefully, hopefully today or tomorrow it should be live. And once it is published, like an email will be sent via your email address you used to register, so you kindly receive it via your email, the link to watch, and also the video also come with video chapters right on YouTube, so that you can skip to different portions that you want to watch. Yeah, so come with video chapters, and so kindly once you visit the YouTube channel, kindly subscribe for more videos on the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador YouTube channel. So thank you very much, Thomas Festus. And also Thomas Festus has a website. Go there to advance your Microsoft your Power BI skills, data analytics. Yes, so thank you very much. Victor Emmanuel Manti, you are here. If you have any question, you might not, that's Mondazi. If you have anything to say until we wrap up, kindly, yes, can come off mute and yes, and say before we wrap up. Yes, and also the last announcement is that I think when it is, I think we ended very early, so by 3 or something, yes, an email will be sent via a feedback email will be sent via your email addresses. So kindly give us a feedback. It's to go a long way to help us to improve on our upcoming event or our future event. So thank you very much. If there's no questions, thank you very much for joining, and see you in our next event. And also, if you have any events, you may share by the email addresses you provided for you to attend. So as students ambassador, we seek to help educate people, our colleagues on campus or off campus, to make the world a better place. So we have one person, Asari, want to ask a question. Asari, kindly come off mute and ask your question. So, and also one person to want to ask is Asari, just come off mute. Yes.
Okay. Please.